Can you flick the underfloor heating nest on? Just press the button. There you go. Lovely. Right, turn it off. Off. I think he's a bit deaf. Can you turn it off? Off. O-double-F. There we go. Got there in the end. What's up guys, it's PB. Happy Sunday. No long intro this week because it's far too hot to sit in this van. So if you don't subscribe to my channel, please subscribe. This week's video we've got the underfloor heating job, the overlay system that I did with Marcus. We've got a really nice job from Davies Plumbing and Heating off Instagram. Luke from Clayton Plumbing and Heating, who's just started his own YouTube channel, make sure you check that out, has done an I fucked up. And we're looking at the new gas certificate feature on the Tradify app. Hope you enjoy it.
Well, morning folks. So, Pete's just done a job that he's got to finish today, but he'll be here tomorrow. This is our job over the next few days. I'm going to do an underfloor heating overlay job. I've got a manifold going just here. I've already took a couple of rads off and capped them off under the floor. One there and one there. And then we've got all this overlay system to fit. It's not something I've done before, but it should be fun. And then I'm going to drop 2 pipes from just up there, that's where the boiler is. Take it down under the floor, up to the manifold. Got a couple of zone valves, going to zone it. And we've got a couple of Google nests going as well, so it should be a nice job. Anyway, there we go.
So, Marcus yesterday Marcus was a busy boy yesterday. He's got all the flooring down. This room's all fixed to the floor. And then we're just putting this one down now. This has still got to be fixed. I'm just cutting them out and slotting them in. Take a little bit out of there. So this morning we've got the 26mm MLCP down the wall, along under the floor and then up into the manifold. Now this manifold, we're only using these 2 zones and these 4 have been capped off, and that's because the guy in the future is going to extend his underfloor heating into the hallway, downstairs toilet and kitchen. So that's why we've put the bigger manifold in. And then if we go upstairs, so this is the boiler. So there's our 26mm MLCP comes up. We've already pressed the copper tails on. So we've got to now, it's deceiving because they've put the MagnaClean on the flow, but this is our flow pipe here. So we're going to take that out, basically put the MagnaClean onto the return for him. And then we've got a 2-port to go to the heating. And then there'll be a 2-port for the underfloor downstairs. So there's that to do. Then we need to put bypass in. So there's a bit of work to do in here. And then the controls, he's got a wireless room stat for the heating. That's coming out. We're putting 2 nests in. 1 nest will do the upstairs heating and 1 nest will do the underfloor heating. So that's what we're doing. So cutting the pipe, and we've got this adapter.
Split O-ring, crimp on. And then that goes on.
So look at it.
Like that. It'll tighten up, push onto there.
And then the manifold.
Like that. And that's it. We're rocking.
Then we start going round. So the floor sort of grabs it made a plan to come all the way around and then come back up this one to finish back into the manifold there. So that's how far we've got now. All we're doing is, I'm the decoiler and Marcus is laying it in the floor. That, and we go back again. Took us about 10 minutes to do all this. So that's this zone done. On the pipe it tells you how much you've got left. So we're at 89 metres. This was 100 metre coil. And there's a little bit spare. But you can gauge it, like when we got to halfway, we made sure we had less than 50 metres. Because the worst thing is to get sort of towards the end and realise you've not got enough to get back. But we've got plenty on this, so that's now going to connect into that flow limiter there. And then we can crack on. Well, what we'll do is we'll move all the kit into this room, have a tidy up, and then we'll think about getting that pipe down. Lovely. On to the next one.
Beautiful.
So we've cleared the room, all the stuff's here, and we're starting again. This is another 100 metres. So we can start from the manifold, running one of these channels around this corner, which we've had to cut in to pick up. And then when we come back, the last one will be on that outside edge. And then we're going to come probably into here, and then through that channel I've cut, back up. That's the outer one, yeah. Cool. So we reckon this is the halfway point. What we got on the
47 metres.
So we used 47 metres of a 100 metre coil, and we've only got halfway, so we're a bit, yeah, squeaky bum time. Will it be good?
Yeah. Got faith in you.
Did we make it back? What are we on?
We made it 93 metres.
93, 7 metres to spare.
Bit of Rona. Leave my bit behind.
You used to bigger than a 15mm pipe, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's 16mm.
Yeah. Hey, 1 millimetre, 1 millimetre.
Can make all the difference.
You've got it.
That's what she said. Not bad.
Not bad.
So just pressure testing it. Ignore that because it's broken. We're going off the one on the manifold. So we've been told to test this at 4 bar. So we're going to leave that on at 4 bar while we do the wiring and the altering the pipework upstairs. Marcus is upstairs doing the pipework on the boiler, and I'm just wiring the underfloor heating zone. So I've got my Wago wiring centre on there, permanent live, neutral and earth. They've got all the switch lives from the valve to the pump and to the boiler there. And then now I've got to connect this nest to it, so I'm going to mount that above it and connect that into there. And then by the time I've done that, Marcus should be done in the cupboard upstairs, and I'll go up there and do the other nest for the radiators, for the central heating. So that's my nest wired in. So followed the instructions of the S plan. Now we've not got a water valve or a cylinder stat, so we only really need a wire out of 3 to connect in with the brown from the valve. The grey is the permanent live. We've already done that in the wiring centre. So the only other thing we have to do is take a link from live into 2, and then when the nest calls for heat, it puts that live onto number 3, which then goes to the valve, opens the valve. The valve puts this permanent live, which comes from the grey, onto the orange, which then goes to the boiler and to our pump. So that fires the boiler up, turns the pump on. So yeah, so that's that done. Took this cable this way because they might be building a cupboard around it, so just keep it out of the way. And then there was no wires for the stat from here because they're putting it on a stand, so that'll be done by wirelessly. What are you doing?
Tidying up British Gas's pipe work a little bit, but we'll put a bypass in. Going to move the filter off the flow to the return, try and get that on there. We'll put another T here, zone valve for the hot water, zone valve for the radiators, zone valve here for the underfloor.
Cool. Right, what have you done?
So,
Head's not in the game today.
it's not. The first time I cut my piece of pipe that I needed off the return of the boiler. The second time I made this up and I made it too long. I've got it to the bottom pipe rather than the top pipe. I cocked up again. Sorry, Pete.
So, do you reckon we should have a tea break and you can sort of have a word with yourself?
Yeah. It should have been right up there, look.
Good job they're your fittings and not mine.
Yeah, but as we all know, we all like an extra bit of 3-inch.
Lucky if I can get 1 inch, mate. So I know I told you about this yesterday, but when I put this on my Instagram, the guy who makes this messaged me to say thank you because a few people ordered them yesterday. But he's actually an electrician, on the tools electrician. I didn't know that. So if you want one, just Google builder's tea box. But yeah, you get the kettle in the middle, you get the spoon, you get 2 the metal mugs, and then 2 canisters. I said they were for tea and sugar, but I guess one could be for coffee if you don't like tea. Obviously don't put Tetley tea bags in it and ruin it like Marcus did. Sorry. So just having our first break. What time is it? 9:30? 9:45?
10 o'clock,
10 o'clock. So I do my meal preps today. I've got, this is a no carb one. Cucumber, steak, gherkin and tomato. And Marcus has got
BCO, bacon, chicken and lettuce.
Guess his pack up made for him, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, so that's held at 4 bar. So we will take the pressure off. Short this. Get this machine off and then we're good to start filling it. So got just doing one zone at the minute. Got cold water coming in and then this one's open and all the air and water's coming out, and I'll do that until this orange hose runs steady once it's got all the air out. So that's running steady now. There's no air coming out. That means that zone, that circuit's full. So now I'll shut that one and open up the second one. Otherwise it's gonna need to shut it. Let's open that one up and shut that one. So now it's going through this second circuit. I'm gonna have a look, you should be pumping some air out now. So again, just wait for all that air to come out. Once that one's running steady, then that's the two circuits done. So this is where Marcus got the materials from, Beneath Heat. In the live video we did in the week, someone asked Marcus if it was barrier pipe, and he said it wasn't, but it actually is. So I'll just check on here. So it's using the 16mm PEX barrier pipe, which is this one, and it's Spanish, but you can see it says here 16x2 con barrera anti-oxygeno, which I think in English means barrier pipe, anti-oxygen barrier pipe. And then there's all the classifications of it. Yeah, I don't speak good Spanish.
Con barrera antioxígeno.
With anti-oxygen barrier.
So we're all connected up to the boiler upstairs, everything's live, and you can tell I don't do underfloor heating very often because I forgot to wire the two actuators in. So what I'm going to do, they need to connect in with the switch live to the pump and boiler. So I'm going to move these down into this one that's got 5 in and connect these two into here. So obviously when the Nest is calling for heat for this room, it opens these two up. Right, so Marcus has done in the cupboard. You can see you got 2 port there for the radiators, and then that's our feed down to the underfloor heating manifold, which has got the 2 port downstairs, returns back up, return from the boiler, which we've now moved the MagnaClean onto, and then the extra expansion vessels there. So what I've got to do now, so I've got an ESI wireless room stat, I've got to take that out, and then using this wiring sensor here, I've got to connect in the 2 port, the feed, that's the 4 cord to the manifold downstairs, and I've got a Nest there to go in as well. So obviously we've got a combi boiler, and we're putting 2 Nests on. One is for this zone and one is for the underfloor heating zone. So the combi, the stat that came out, which is this one here, was using 2 switching wires. We're not going to use those anymore. We're just going to have 1 switching wire to the boiler. So it would be this, basically this one, 230 to the combi, 240 to the combi on the live, but we're using an S plan. So all we're going to do is in between number 3 where it goes to the boiler, go in through the zone valve and out of the zone valve into the boiler. So the zone valve's basically just going in series before it goes up with a switch live, if that makes sense. So again on the Nest, I've got my link in between live and 2. When this Nest calls, it puts the live onto 3, which will go into our zone valve, open the zone valve, come back out the zone valve, and then connect onto the switch live that goes up to the boiler. Right, so that's all wired in now. So because the old stat used 2 switching wires, so basically a live out and a live back into the boiler, we only need 1 of these. So I've got to disconnect 1. We're just going to use LR. So our switching wire from the valve and this Nest, and the switching wire from the valve and the Nest downstairs will both link in with 1 wire into LR, and then whenever one of them gets a demand, it will fire the boiler up. Oh, so that's that done. This is the bit I always hate. Fuse back in, and power on, hope it doesn't go pop. Right, so the power's on. Turn the thermostat up, ignore the pressure gauge was faulty. It was at 0.5 bar, so I put some pressure in and it wasn't going up. We'll sort that out in a minute. So if we put the thermostat up for the heating, nothing should happen. And then our 2 port for the radiators, that's shut. Okay, so then if I manually pop this Nest on, this should open. When it finally opens, it should then bring the boiler on. Wait, and turn that off. It should go out. The valve should shut, which it has. A copy of it. I'll try that again with the downstairs one. Can you flick the underfloor heating Nest on? Just press the button. So when he presses that, that two-pot downstairs should open, and then the boiler should fire again. There we go. Lovely. Right, turn it off. Off. I think he's a bit deaf. Can you turn it off? Off. O-double-F. There we go, got there in the end. Now it's time to set up the nests.
Racing it. Coming past here.
See it there. Right, so we've got the thermal imaging camera on my phone because at the minute the floor's not been on, and then we're going to fire up the floor and we'll show you what happens at the manifold. So if you turn the nest on, call for heat for the underfloor.
Yep, that's right. It takes a few minutes for the actuators to open them.
Yeah. Let's hold this a bit different. These always work better if you stand back.
So those actuators will take
Marcus is currently
red hot.
what do you face? 29, 30?
Better?
So you should see it start to come down the pipes. There we go, you can just see it coming now. Alright, so you can just see a little bit of heat coming through the flow, which is the one I've got my crosshair on. Well, you can see it just starting to go around now. So that's us into the first zone there. And off into this zone. So give it a minute, let it warm up, and then we'll show you the floor.
Possibly floor up to here, maybe. Yeah, it's not exactly the same height.
I think that's it. I'll put all your other bits of instructions upstairs in the folder there. That's just like a vacuum nest.
Right guys, Tradeify has now got gas certificates on it. So I'm on a job here on my work management app. Going to try and not show you too many details of the address and stuff, but the job description here is that it needs a gas certificate. So along the top line there is all the things that we can do in regards to this job. But if I click on forms, create form, we can see there gas safety record at the top, and then there's these other ones like warning notice. There's even an unvented hot water inspection record and commissioning. But if we click on that, then we've got all the details. The customer details is preloaded. You get a serial number for your gas certificate, and you can just go through like you would on any other app. Appliances, add a new reading, and then you can add the location, the type of the appliance, make, model, all your information you get from the job. And then when you're done, you can email it direct to your customer, which is all the customer's details are already preloaded. If you want to try it, you can have a 14-day free trial, and then if you like it, use my discount code for 50% off for 3 months. All the details are in the description to the video.
So this is a current project we're working on at the moment. In this airing cupboard was an old gravity-fed hot water cylinder. pretty much the same height as the bottom shelf, so fairly small water content. Underneath the cylinder there was a flow and return manifold that teed off to each individual radiator on the upstairs circuit, all in 10mm plastic. So previously there was leaks under there, there was no access, so it was a bit of a nightmare for the customer to obviously see if there was ever an issue. So upon taking the cylinder out, obviously we noticed that there was the leaks on the manifolds. So what we've done is we've supplied the flow and return manifold to reconnect the heating circuit for upstairs for the radiators. There's another one of these sets in the property to govern the downstairs radiators. So you've got a lever valve on the flow and a lever valve on the return. You can isolate each individual radiator at a time. And obviously you've got an auto air vent on there to release any air out once the system is settled. So the bonus of these manifolds is you can turn off each circuit of radiators. So there's 7 up here. So if you wanted to balance the whole system, i.e. get it all up and running as efficient as possible, but you still want to do, say, a mains flush or a magnet cleans flush. Now what you normally do, you turn off your TRV, turn off your lock shield, and obviously flush each individual radiator. With the bonus of this, what you can do is balance it all, turn off every single radiator, but leave one flow and one return open, so you can continuously flush that radiator without disturbing the balancing process. And again, obviously open each individual one and then just flush it as you normally would. So these were off the internet, they're made by John Guest. Again, it's just a push fit fitting in there. Again, it's reduced under the floor into 10mm, so you haven't got those long lengths of copper or the expenditure of obviously running copper flow and return to each individual radiator. Bearing in mind this is an existing property, so it's not been a full central heating system put in. So we've come off the existing. So like I say, the bonus of these is push fit, nice, neat and tidy, easy to connect to. You've got a 3/4 fit in there. All you do is reconnect a 3/4 fitting on there. So you've got a female fitting in there with a male thread, and then on each side you've just got blank. On this one we've added an auto air vent and a radiator in the airing cupboard because you don't have the heat of the whole hot water cylinder. So you still got your storage. Like I say, they're absolutely brilliant for what they are. It saves trying to get under, say, a HEP manifold or anything like that, so you can't see anything under the floor. So with this, you can isolate anything you want, easy to maintain, and yeah, just all round brilliant bit of kit. They're not the cheapest. I think these pair are about £250, but they're well worth it, like I say, for customers' point of view, easy maintenance in the future, and just generally zoning off whatever you want. Like I said, there's a zone for upstairs and a zone for downstairs, identical, but yeah, work brilliantly. If you like any content or anything you want to explain any more on these, just follow us on Instagram, Davies Plumbing and Heating.
Hello everyone, I'm Luke from Clayton Heating and Plumbing on YouTube, and I fucked up. So in my, I think it was first month of my apprenticeship with my granddad, we were working in this really big house, and there was a little outhouse and we'd just fit a boiler. So he said to me, go around all the rads, make sure that all the bleeds turned off because I'm going to start filling up. So I was like, okay. So I went out of the outhouse into the main house, went around all the radiators and they're all turned off anyway. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I went back and said, yeah, all good. And he was filling. And then I think we were tidying up while he was filling the boiler. He's keeping an eye on the pressure gauge. And after about 10 minutes, he was like, it's just not, something's not going right. It's not building pressure. So okay, it was just like, you did go around all the radiators upstairs, didn't you, in here? I was like, no, I went around all the rads in the house, and I've never seen a 60-year-old man run so fast up a set of stairs. We got up there, and basically the customer was a accountant, and he had a lot of very high profile clients, so all the radiators had filled up. However, there was just water coming out of the bleeds, all of the bleeds in the radiators. I think there was 6 radiators upstairs in this little outbuilding, all jetting out water everywhere. And we I managed to go through a filing cabinet that was filled with water, and yeah, so yeah, we spent the next sort of 2 hours with a hairdryer, just going around all the bits of paper that were everywhere that were just soaked and ruined. And yeah, I'll never live that down. So yeah, I'm Luke and I fucked up.